The city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is known for being one of the oldest established cities in America. Philadelphia was home to the signing of the Declaration of Independence and was the country's first capital city before picking the capital we know today in Washington, D.C. The city was founded by William Penn on October 27, 1682, as part of the colony of Pennsylvania, also founded by Penn. He established the colony as a safe haven for people who were suffering from religious persecution, something Penn himself had dealt with due to him being Quaker. Many people know Colonial Philadelphia as the trading port city, but in reality, it was the destination of hundreds of thousands of European immigrants seeking a fresh start and a better life for them and their family. Not only was Colonial Philadelphia home to British citizens coming over, but most of the immigrants were from Germany and Ireland, with a percentage being Dutch and Scottish. Although the immigration was international, Germany and Ireland were two hotspots for immigration throughout this period. Before the Revolutionary War had begun, over 150,000 Scot-Irish immigrants had settled in Philadelphia, along with 70,000 Germans. In 1683, the first non-British settlement had been established right outside of Philadelphia. This settlement was called Germantown. It was home to the first wave of German immigrants in Philadelphia and was founded by 13 Quaker and Mennonite families from Krefeld, Germany, seeking religious tolerance. Most of the early people migrated to Philadelphia were poor, and in result had to come to America as indentured servants. Indentured servants are people who have to work off their passage's cost. Because of the high amount of indentured servants, Philadelphia's population was the largest of the colonies at the beginning of the Revolution. This was due to these indentured servants having to stay in the city working for their master from anywhere from 5 to 10 years. By the time their servitude was up, most of them would elect to stay in the city because they had already been there for so long. When addressing immigration to Philadelphia in the colonial period, you have to talk about William Penn's document, known as From Some Account of the Province of Pennsylvania. This writing served as a 17th century advertisement for people looking to move across the Atlantic. It laid out all the many details of what William Penn wanted for his colony. He stated that it was to be a religiously tolerant community and called for industrious day laborers, laborious craftsmen, such as carpenters and masons, as well as farmers who can maintain large plantations. Penn also talked about the endless land and resources that Pennsylvania had to offer, such as the untapped soil, perfect for farming, and the endless timber that can be used for building materials, as well as raw materials that would be later on shipped through the port of Philadelphia to England. This document ever so intrigued Europeans to come and see for themselves, and it was a key reason in the surplus of people migrating to Philadelphia during the colonial period. As stated before, about 150,000 Irish and 70,000 German immigrants made their way to Philadelphia by the start of the Revolutionary War. There are a couple reasons why they had left their fatherlands for America. The first being the overwhelming amount of opportunity presenting itself in America. At this time, America was an immaculate treasure land waiting to be explored to its core. There was countless amounts of land, opportunities for wealth that were not available back home, and it promised religious tolerance in some places, which is a big reason why people were immigrating in the first place. The second reason why these people migrated was the lack of opportunity in Europe. Religious persecution that they were so dreadfully trying to avoid, and difficult economic conditions. Philadelphia was a desirable destination for these immigrants in many ways. For the Irish, A trip to Philadelphia was the cheapest and shortest way to the New World, which made it very desirable. And they were also tied to colonial Pennsylvania because their goods entering Irish ports. This made it easy for the Irish to use the already established overseas trade when deciding where they would like to settle. For the Germans, Philadelphia was desirable because of religious freedom that they so desperately wanted. Mennonites, Quakers, Protestants, and even Jews began to settle all over Pennsylvania due to its tolerance. Both German and Irish immigrants were Americanized sometime after settling, as many groups were at this time period. They embraced the culture that they built for themselves in America, but also stayed true to their roots, remembering their customs from back across the pond. They are certainly anything but outsiders in America, due to them being some of the first people to settle in the Pennsylvania colony. If anything, they should be considered some of the founding Americans that helped bring such a variety of culture to our country. The push and pull factor of German and Irish immigration to America was the willingness of European merchants to lend money to poor immigrants who could not afford the voyage. The pull would be the state of the labor market in the colonies at the time that would make an investment in a laborer logical. Without this credit system put in place by the merchants, most immigrants wouldn't be able to board these ships to America, and American immigration would have stalled greatly, which also would have depressed their economy and not gave them as much opportunities. Not many of the immigrants decided to move out of Pennsylvania. This was due to there being ample work in the area, more open land than in the northern and southern colonies, and yet again, the idea of religious tolerance. Both Irish and German immigrants have brought culture and life to America. Without them in the colonial area, Philadelphia would not be where it is today. These immigrants helped raise the city over others and make it one of the most significant cities of colonial America. So much history lies in Philadelphia, and these immigrants represent a great deal of it.